What's up, GolfersRx? The Golf Yogi here, coming to you from my new home in Scottsdale, Arizona. Sidelines or headlines. So if any of you guys make it to Scottsdale, you want to come in, check out the place, go through a workout with me, be sure to give me a text or drop by. I get a lot of emails coming, especially from the RX community, talking about how do I just get to moving a little bit better. A lot of the things we do is usually really specific, hitting the hip flexors, hitting the hamstrings, hitting the hips, whatever it may be. So I put together some of my favorite poses just to get you moving a little bit more. So as always, I like to start out, we're going to get into the hips in a lot of these. Take a stance like you're going to hit maybe an 8-iron, splay the toes a little, just get into this moving squat. And it doesn't matter, guys, when you're just getting into moving, if you haven't been very mobile, if you haven't been doing a lot for your fitness, just getting moving into these hips is going to feel really, really good. You can square the chest to the floor, you can sit up tall, wherever it feels good. Just play around with it a little bit. And then where we're going with these guys, we're going to start off in one of my favorites, which is a runner's lunge. So when we get into it, the only things we really want to be careful of here is keeping the knee over the ankle, not letting that knee get way out in front of the ankle. It's going to put a lot of stress on the knee. But once you're in here, you can start to bounce, work the hips up and down. And when we bounce the hips, make sure you're not just bending your knee thinking you're getting a stretch there. Bounce the hips just nice and easy. It's going to get all the way into this hip flexor down the front of the leg. You can also start to straighten out a little bit and move with it. You're going to feel this up the front of the leg. Might feel it pretty good in the hamstring, even with that foot flat on the floor. If you want a little more, you can hug that toe back towards you. Start to get a little bit deeper into the hamstring, but just playing with it. From here, we can go into what's called lizard pose in yoga. So we bring both hands inside the foot, start to sink down. When we do that, we want to make sure this knee stays close to us. I'll show you what I mean here. When we get into this lizard, we don't want to go down and let this knee fall way out to the side. You want to hug this in, try to sink lower with it. So if you've got that and you can play around with it to get a little bit deeper into these hips, we can also start to work the forearms to the ground. If you want a little bit easier, you can take the knee to the ground, stay up on the hands. Maybe there it's a little bit easier to start to work these forearms all the way down. If you want to, once you're on the ground and you're really stable, you can let that knee fall out and just kind of play with it. Let it fall to the side. Just roll through, just to get a little bit of movement through the hips and the hip flexors. Should feel really good. And then from there, guys, we've got one more. It's a little bit deeper, but gonna make you work that upper body a little bit with it as well. This is called humble warrior in yoga. So we take the heels just about to heel to heel alignment front to back. We're gonna start to square the hips off here, interlace these hands back behind the back, start to fold all the way down, working this chest down inside the knee. You can let this fist come up, but don't force it forward. Just go to where it's comfortable. Keep hugging that knee in. You can play around with the hips a little bit just to get movement. Again, guys, there's not a lot of right and wrong in any of these. As long as you're keeping that knee stacked over the ankle and you're stable in anything you're doing, you're going to get a lot more mobility through the hips, through the hip flexors, all the way through the trunk. Hopefully get to moving a little bit better. Hopefully take some pressure off your day-to-day life, not just the golf swing. So give these a shot, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to email me directly, mark@thegolfyogi.com. Head out, play some great golf.